Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Autumn Renee. For those of you who are new, I'm a 23-year-old foster parent. I just finished the licensing process, and I also work with kiddos during the day, and these are my sleep essentials for all nighttime and naptime sleep. So starting off, what is my baby's way to sleep? I use these sleepers. I like the ones with the zip-ups because when you're in the middle of the night and you're trying to change a diaper, trying to get all those buttons to match up and you miss one, you have to redo the whole thing. I'm not about that life, guys. So zip-up sleepers are great. My kiddos sleep in these year-round. If they're young, make sure to get the ones that have the mittens on the sleeves. This one does not, but some of them have those mittens, so they don't scratch their face. Great for younger babies. Also having the little footsies. Once again, this one does not either, but if they're younger, make sure you get the ones that have the cover on their feet so their feet don't get cold. But yeah, these zip-up sleepers are great. My kiddos use these from 0 to 12 months and even a little bit after that, and they're awesome. Moving on from that, on top of that, my kiddos, if they are under 3 months old, they usually are in swaddles, or if they roll over before then, I'll stop the swaddling. For those of you who don't know, sleeping tip, if your baby can roll over, they should not be swaddled anymore, because what can happen is your baby can roll over in their swaddle and then they can't roll back because they don't have any arms to push up on, and they can suffocate that way. There's been a lot of horrible, tragic deaths that's happened that way, so just make sure you're better safe than sorry. Once your baby reaches around 2.5, 3 months old or starts to roll over, it's time to switch out of the swaddles and either not use anything at all or maybe use a sleep sack. So the swaddles that I like to use are these halo swaddles. They basically have a zip. It's hard to see this one. Hold on a second. So basically they have this zipper in the front right here, and it zips down so that you can just zip it up a little bit and change your diaper in the middle of the night. It's really convenient. And then they also have just these little Velcro swaddle pieces that just swaddle over and keep your baby nice and swaddled. These are very hard to break out of, so it's really great if you have a little Houdini who is trying to break out of their swaddles. These Halo sleep sacks are great for that. Doesn't have to be the Halo brand, but that's just the brand that I prefer. If you do not want to use a kind of pre-made swaddle like that, if you want to actually swaddle your baby with a blanket, my recommendation would be these muslin blankets. I love this muslin material. It's so soft and breathable and just airy, so if your baby did break out of the swaddle, it wouldn't be a suffocation hazard. I love the brand autumn.rene.holt. They make great swaddle blankets, but they are a little bit pricey, so if you want something cheaper, you can definitely find some cheap ones on Amazon or at Target or anywhere else really. Once your baby reaches the age where they cannot have a swaddle, then I would switch to a sleep sack. This sleep sack is by Carter's, although I really prefer the Halo brand, as I mentioned before. But as you can see, it no longer has the swaddle pieces. Their arms are free. This is a long sleeve one. They also make short sleeve ones, and they just have this little sack at the bottom, which kind of just makes your baby feel cozy and helps with their straddle reflex, and almost like they're wearing a blanket, but it's not going to be a suffocation hazard, I guess, is my point. So these are great, keeping them warm year-round. They make ones that are made of this more fleecy material. They also make some that are more airy and cotton for the summer and more hot weather. So those are great for babies who are over 3 months. Moving on from there, if you have your baby sleeping in a bassinet or a crib, my kiddos sleep in a crib, then extra crib sheets is definitely a must. I would recommend having at least 3. That way, if your baby spits up on one, has an accident, you're washing one, you're always going to have one. It's great. So extra crib sheets are definitely a must. Moving on from there, I also use blackout curtains in my nursery, which also happens to be my bedroom. My crib is in my bedroom, so I do use blackout curtains in there. It helps mimic the conditions of the womb. So in the womb it's dark and you have that soft sound, and it's just great to have these blackout curtains to help mimic that, helps them sleep a little bit. And I live in an apartment complex, so there's lighting outside my window and it's kind of bright, so this just helps them sleep a little bit. Now the next item is really going to depend on the baby and the parent, and that is a pacifier. So pacifiers are great for sleeping, guys. It actually reduces the risk of SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. I don't know why that was so hard to say. But this actually does reduce the risk of that. So it actually is a very safe thing to have with your baby in the crib. But obviously all babies, especially girl babies, do not take to pacifiers. So this will depend on whether or not your baby takes this and whether or not you as a parent kind of want them to have this sleep crutch, I guess. I use these Philips Advent ones for babies who do like to take pacifiers. These are just kind of clear, they're gender neutral, they come with a little cover on them, so if you want them in your diaper bag or anything that's just really nice and safe. So I really like these ones. I've also heard really great things about the MAM glow-in-the-dark pacifiers. So if you're one of those people that's kind of worried about trying to find this one at night, you could try to look into those. But yeah, pacifiers are another great sleeping essential. Another one, which a lot of people might think this is odd, is a book. Now, I would not obviously keep this book in the crib, but I would use this as part of my sleeping routine, just kind of, reading to my baby before I put them to sleep. It's so important to establish a sleeping routine for your baby, just so they can expect, they know, oh, this is when I go to sleep, I always read a book, I always get rocked, whatever your routine is, and then they go to sleep. So a book is a great thing to add to that routine. A lot of people may not think to add a book until your baby is a toddler, but you can actually start reading to your baby from day one, newborn. It helps their eye coordination, they can look at the pictures, they love to hear your voice. So reading is actually a great thing for younger babies too. Another great thing to have is something like this. This is called the Daydreamer. You don't have to have something quite as bulky as this. You can get something like the Boppy Lounger, or even just like a bouncer or something that you can set your baby in during the day when they're in those newborn first few weeks and they sleep just so much. It's just not realistic to have them sleeping in their crib all the time. So having something that you can kind of have around your house during the day that they could take a nap in is great. This Daydreamer has been awesome. It's very lightweight and breathable. It's made for babies to sleep during the day. It's also at an incline, which is great if your baby has reflux problems. So anything like that your baby can just lay in and sleep and nap when they are younger. So like I said, just those first few weeks or months, it's a great option to have. One other thing that I do use for my kids is a sound machine. I love having like a white noise sound machine. No music, I don't use music. But just a white noise that can kind of drown out other sounds and kind of, once again, mimics the sounds that are in the womb is just a great thing. A rocking chair is another great thing to have in your nursery area so that you can rock your baby. You don't have to rock your baby to sleep, that's up to you. But even just having to be able to rock them and soothe them, prior to putting them in their crib, even if they're not asleep, it's just great. I use the Modway rocking chair. I love it because it's so small and lightweight, and it fits in really tiny spaces. I couldn't fit like a huge glider in my room, so having that was really great, and it's also surprisingly comfortable. It's made out of molded plastic, and I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but it's actually very, very comfortable and has like really great lower back support. So if you're needing a small rocking chair for a cheap price, Modway rocking chair I would definitely recommend. And that is about all for my sleeping essentials, guys. Let me know in the comments below if I missed any essentials. And I do have 5 more tips for you guys to help your baby sleep better. It's 5 things that I do not use for baby sleep. One of them I already mentioned. I don't use music. I don't want my babies to have any unnecessary sleep crutches if I can help it. So I do play white noise, but I don't do any kind of like music because I don't want them to get used to like hearing a certain song and have to have that song to sleep to, I guess, if that makes sense. I also don't use any kind of stuffed animals or kind of like security blankets. Once again, a sleep crutch, and 2, it's a suffocation hazard and a choking hazard for young babies. If fuzz or something came off of it and they choked on it, or they rolled over on it and then couldn't breathe, it's just not safe for babies under 12 months of age. If you want to add stuffed animals or something when they reach 12 months of age, that's up to you, but definitely for the younger babies, that's pretty much a huge no-no. Going along with that, loose blankets and pillows is also something you don't want to add until the toddler years. It's just, once again, a suffocation hazard. Same thing with crib bumpers. Crib bumpers used to be huge, like everybody got them with their cute little nursery sets, but that is not safe anymore, guys. They roll over, once again, suffocation risk, it increases the risk of SIDS, and it's just not worth it. If you really feel strongly about wanting crib bumpers, they do make these breathable bumpers from Breathable Baby that are just like mesh. So if you feel the need to have crib bumpers, those are definitely the safest ones. Otherwise, just don't use any. I don't use any, and it's fine. So that would be my recommendation with crib bumpers. And last thing would be mobiles. So a lot of people put those cute little mobiles above their crib, and I get it, they're cute, and you think, oh, that'd be something for my baby to look at. But the thing is you don't want your baby to have anything else to do in the crib besides sleep. Like you don't want them to associate it with being a playtime or anything else. Like you want your baby to associate crib with sleep. So younger babies, when they see a mobile, to them, that's like playing, because younger babies can't really do anything else but look at things. And so the way that they play is to look at things. So giving them a mobile to look at is going to, interact with their brain. It's going to give them something to do besides sleep in their crib, and that's not really something you want to do. So I recommend putting your mobile above your changing table to distract them while you're doing a diaper change, or even in a play area. Obviously, you need to watch them, make sure that it's high enough up wherever it is, that they can't grab it or tangle themselves in it or anything like that. So be safe with it, but I personally do not use any mobiles with my crib. Anyway, that is all of my sleeping essentials and my sleeping tips. I will talk to you guys next time.